The horse's hoof, if you look at the evolution of the animal, they weren't really designed to be wet. They weren't really wet ground creatures. You know, if you look at all the places in the world where horses evolved, you know, it's more of a dry ground foot. When it's wet, it's soft and it doesn't have its structural strength. And then also when the integument of the foot or the surface of the skin around it, etc., stays wet, its ability to defend itself from bacteria and other things in the environment is weakened. Western Washington really wasn't horse evolution country. It's on the other side of the mountains. So we have to do some adaptation to provide them an environment to exist.
Most of our requests that we get from property owners are that they're battling mud. And so we go out and we assess the situation. It's difficult to maintain the farm because of how much mud there is. You know, their horses or whichever livestock that they have, you know, they start developing hoof problems and other health-related issues because the animals are constantly in mud. Us farm planners, we go out and we address those issues, we come up with solutions, and the heavy use area is really the solution in dealing with mud.
Horse produces about 30 pounds of manure a day and urinates about 2.5 gallons or about 20 pounds of urine a day. So that's quite a bit. 2 horses, that comes out to almost a ton of manure a month.
When we talk about manure management, the thing that the systems let us do is we can clean up the stalls. The horses aren't eating in manure. Horses, by the way, want to eat on the ground. They don't want to eat in troughs. They don't want to eat in hay nets. They don't want to eat in hay boxes on the wall. They want to eat on the ground, and that's the way they were evolved. So they're naturally going to start to get into parasites. The other thing in the bottom of these stalls, they're all matted. They're not eating sand or anything else. They're actually able to work on that mat, which we can keep clean by picking it up every day. Same thing with the sacrifice areas. We keep that picked up every day. We definitely have a fly issue, just like everybody does, because we can only separate the manure so far from them, and you will see the flies, even the little flies, breeding in the manure. But by picking up constantly, you know, at least once a day, it helps quite a bit.
Composting is a great way to turn a waste product on the farm into a very valuable resource.
Basically, if you just provide the manure, don't put too much wood shavings in there, manage the air and manage a little bit of the water, pretty much the compost is going to happen on its own. You don't want to place your compost bin next to a ditch or stream where any leachate from the compost bin might leave the site and go into the streams.
If you are interested in killing the weed seeds and any parasites that may be in the manure, it's important that your compost gets up over 131 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 3 days. And use a compost thermometer that has a 3-foot probe and put that in the core of the pile and really watch your pile temperature carefully.
You never graze lower than 3 inches tall, because that 3 inches and below is where all that plant retains its carbohydrates, and for the energy to grow, a plant grows by photosynthesis. It has to have enough leaf area to get up there with the sun. The sun comes down, provides the energy to the plant absorbs all the nutrients from the ground, continues to grow, the animal comes and clips it off. You never want to graze below that 3 inches.
There's orchard grass and timothy out here and ryegrass. And we don't let the horses out until the seed heads are well produced. So the energy levels and the sugars are down at a lower level, and particularly the protein. We're looking probably 12% protein tops. So, you know, the highly soluble nutrients, which can be somewhat of a challenge, are minimized dramatically as they go across these pastures.